Yo everybody, hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far today. Now guys, super pumped about today's video because we're going to be jumping into episode number 2 of the Brawler Tech video that we did previously. Now if you guys didn't catch that, basically what we did in that video is we took a look at several different brawlers in the game and we plucked out some of their minute intricacies, taking a look at their mechanics that maybe someone else might not know of, that if you practice you could get a leg up on that opponent. So I have a list of different brawlers in today's video. We're going to be taking a look at some of their unique mechanics and how you guys can exploit them in game to get that edge on your opponent. So hopefully you guys are pumped up. Let's jump right into it. Alrighty guys, so we're just going to jump right into the list of brawlers that we have in today's video and their unique mechanics so that you guys can practice them in game, get good at them so that you can take on other opponents in the game and feel comfortable executing these special mechanics. So the very first brawler actually can super stack, and I wanted to start off the video much like I did in the very first episode, and that is with a brawler that can super stack. No, it's not Shelly, and this is one of the newest brawlers that just came to the game, and that is Frank. Now I feel like Frank even rivals Shelly in super stack, might even be a bit better because Frank has a stun element. Now Shelly also has a stun, except they're very different. Shelly has a slow to her super if you have her star power, and Frank has a complete stun where they can't do anything for a good 2 to 3 seconds. So this changes the game. Frank is the only brawler in the entire game that has that stun element to his character. So you can exploit this to the max with his super stacking ability. Now since Frank can do a bunch of damage with his attack, it only takes a few shots to charge up your super, which makes him awesome for super stacking. So what you want to do to start this super stack is you want to first get your super. You need your super first to execute the super stack and get it rolling. So what you want to do is whip out your super, hit someone first. Now it helps if you're undercover in the bushes, and then you can use your super to stun them. But once you have them stunned, then you can get it rolling, because the cool thing about the super is that it counts for the exact amount charged up to the super as one basic attack. So once you land a super, you can hit the brawler twice and then you'll have your super again, and then you just repeat the process, and along the time you're going to be dishing out massive amounts of damage along the way, hitting them multiple times, and they can't do anything. Now if they have teammates that are coming in, they can kind of put an end to your super stack. However, if you have a brawler that's kind of away from their team or in like showdown, you can take them out so easily if you get them trapped with your super. Now this super stack is also incredibly good in boss fight, and in my opinion the funnest to execute in boss fight, just because you get it down once and the entire team just converges on that boss while you're just whipping out the super stacking and they can't do anything. Frank is a monster at super stacking, and he is a force to be reckoned with in game once you get him with a super. Alright guys, so the next mechanic that I want to take a look at is with Piper. Now Piper is a very straight cut brawler. She's a sniper unit, and much like any other sniper unit in any game, they do a lot of damage from a distance. Now the unique thing about Piper is the closer you get, the less amount of damage that you do. Now Piper isn't totally useless if a brawler is charging in on her. If you have her super, she has an escape element with her super, so she can jump away and then she lays down 3 grenades that'll explode on the brawler, so it can stun them and keep them immobilized for a short duration while you're getting away. Now the thing about Piper, her super, you can use it in an offensive push as well, and not with the grenades that drop. Now the way you want to execute this, being you want to use your super as an offensive setup rather than a defensive escape, is you want to wait till a brawler gets close to you. Normally you would use your super to jump away and flee and go to safety. Now what you want to do with your super is set yourself up so that you are at a distance that you can snipe them and get off some damage. Now most of the time brawlers that deal a lot of damage at a short distance or mid-range brawlers are going to exploit your weakness with Piper, being that you don't do a lot of damage at a close distance. So what you want to do with your super, instead of just fleeing away, is mount yourself so that you can be at a distance so that you can snipe them again. Basically using your super to jump away so that you have a distance to deal some damage. They won't see it coming. Now I've seen this plenty of times in showdown where the poison is creeping in. There's no hope of you to take first place because you're looking square in the face with a primo. Now what you want to do with your super is jump away into the poison and shoot the primo. That's the only chance you're gonna have. It's because you're giving yourself some distance, then you have the opportunity to deal more damage. The The poison is going to be ticking you down. However, you have that ability to make that comeback and deal that damage. So start using your super as an escape and as a way to mount your next attack. So use that with Piper. It's very easy to execute. Just use your super to escape and then get ready to line up your shot with Piper. Alright guys, so the next mechanic that I want to take a look at is with none other than Darryl. Yes, Darryl is making our list again because he has several unique mechanics that can be exploited in game. Now this is a game mode specific mechanic, and that is on the game mode Heist. Now I've gotten several comments saying, how do I play Heist? It's such a confusing game mode. Now the first thing that you should be doing is having a Darryl on your team because he is exceptional on the game mode Heist. Now what you want to do is get your super. The mechanic lies in his super. Now what you want to do with the super is angle it in a way that you're going to be able to reach the safe across the map. Now the cool thing again about his super is that he can travel over bodies of water. So on any Heist map that has like water to impede your movement, you can go right through it. And since it has such a large distance that he can cover with his super, you can travel right up to the safe while the team is pushing in on your safe or in like the middle of the map, and you can deal massive amounts of damage to the safe while the other team is slowly and frantically trying to get back to you. So it's an incredibly good mechanic and super easy to execute, and on almost any map on Heist you can do it. So moving on to the next mechanic, it involves 4 different brawlers. Yes, 4 different brawlers can execute the same mechanic, and that is with the spawnables. So Pam, Penny, Jessie, and Nita. Now the cool thing about spawnables is that those brawlers are bringing in another thing within the game that the other team has to deal with. Now each of these spawnables serve their own function. They do different things. So Pam has a healing dynamic, Penny and Jessie both have an offensive dynamic to their spawnables, so a mortar and a turret, and then Nita spawns in a bear. Now you can use all of these things differently from what their given purpose is. You can use it as a defensive wall. Now this mechanic only comes into play when you're in a desperate situation. Say for example you're being Pam and you're being tracked down in showdown by a Colt, and the Colt will not leave you alone, and you have your super. Now the thing that you want to do if you're on your basically your last ropes is toss down your healing station and hide behind it and heal up with the healing station and get out of the range and wait for the Colt to come back. Now you might destroy your turret, but it's going to give you a couple seconds of relief so that you can heal up and get ready for your offensive push. Now this also works very well with Nita. Now Nita excels with her bear being a defensive wall. Nita's bear should be used as a defensive unit rather than an offensive thing. Much like any of the other spawnables, they have their own function. However, they can also have that capability of using it as a defense. Now Nita's bear is a little bit of an exception because it moves around. It has a mind of its own, so it goes towards other brawlers. Now what you want to do with Nita's bear is once you get a brawler low, you don't want to use that bear to toss it in on them and try to pick up the kill with the bear. What you want to use Nita's bear for is getting closer to the enemy team. Say a Colt is coming in at you and he's shooting you down, much like Pam, and you're trying to advance and push the other team back. You can drop down your bear and follow the bear's movements to that Colt while the bear is soaking up all the damage. So yes, all spawnables have their own function, and you should be using them more often than not as their function requires you, so a healing station or an offensive turret, but if you need it, it's always there for a defensive structure when you're in a desperate situation. Alright guys, so the next mechanic works the best with Crow. However, it works the best with any other brawler that has an assassination element to their character. So an assassination element is basically a brawler that can move in very quickly, someone with a lot of mobility that can get in really close and surprise the brawler and take them out very quickly. So a Bull with his super, Crow with his super, maybe a Mortis dashing up to another brawler, but that's kind of like an assassination element. So the mechanic works like this. So you want to pay attention to the other brawler that you're going up against. Say you're going up against a Brock or a Spike. You want to pay attention to how many shots they have shot off. So if they're spamming auto aim and they shoot all 3 shots, you know that they don't have any ammo left. They might have 1 shot by the time you jump in, but that 1 shot will not be enough to kill you. So wait until they blast off all their shots, then jump in for the assassination. Now this mechanic definitely thrives with the assassination brawlers. However, you can also use it to your advantage using any brawler. It's not a character specific mechanic is what I'm trying to say. Basically, it's a lot of head game stuff, which in Brawl Stars, it's a game of head games, because in Brawl Stars, you're controlling the character. So head game stuff comes into play a lot in Brawl Stars, whether it be strafing or this mechanic where you're slowly waiting for the brawler to spam out their shots. You want to find an edge in those certain situations, so try to pinpoint the minute things in game. Try to pick up on how the other player is playing and get in the other player's head. It's going to help you out a lot. Alrighty guys, so that concludes our second episode of the Brawler Tech video. Again, I really have a good time making these videos. videos because it's really fun to take a look at the small minute details of each individual brawler, try to pull away different mechanics that you can exploit to your benefit to get somewhat of a leg up. It might not be a crazy leg up, but it might be something that's gonna be really good for you in that given moment, that's gonna give you that edge. Like I said before, Brawl Stars is a very unique game where we're governing all of our brawlers' movements and we're going up against another brawler. So it's really important to take a look at all the small things and how we can gain an edge going up against brawlers that might be even better than us. So if you practice some of these things that I gave you in this video today, you definitely will improve your game. Also, try to find your own little tweaks in game so that you can find an edge against other opponents in game. Trust me, the small things really count in games like Brawl Stars. So guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. With that being said, make sure to keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.